All right, class. So you should have at least one operation combination of two operations. The next step would be to rearrange these a little bit. I like to have them sort of like in that staggered sequence, as we can see right here. So quite simple, right? So I can bring, and once you again see or I illustrate the concepts, you can go ahead and maybe work on this a little bit. I'm going to turn on grid snap. You can work on this as you find more efficient. I'm going to bring this one over here, this one kind of like over here, and again, oops, let's not forget about the full form. There we go. And maybe this one over here, maybe over here. So what I'm trying to do, we're going to go into your set view, isometric southeast in this case, and we actually want to half them so that we can see them in this way. That's why that setup I find that works. Let me go ahead and bring this one over here because I need one more, which is the final one, which is this one over here. All right, so now we have this neatly row of models in sequence. Let's make sure again that you're in the right view. Set view, isometric southeast. Does it have to be the southeast? I don't think so. It depends on the model. Do be consistent though. Once you select an orientation, I would say keep the same one for all of the models. So we have these four models right here that again are the four models that lead us to our final result, which again are going to turn into this diagram over here. Okay, how do we do that? Well, simple. We do our make to D, right? Make to D. So we select that object, we select all these objects right here, and this one's over here. I'm gonna press enter. Here, I would say maintain source layers. I think that might be helpful as we move on to Illustrator. And I think the rest of the settings, you can set them up as you see on my screen right here. Go ahead and click OK. Again, if we go back to your top view, you'll start seeing your diagrams. So they are right here, as you can see on my screen. We select them. We go on to export, enter, and remember that we want to export onto an Illustrator file. So we select that file right there, and let's go ahead and save the right location. And I was giving them just a name like E1, E2, E3 because we're gonna do a series of them. So again, you can do that, right? So I'm gonna put EX as in export 1, export 2, EXP, export 1, export 2, save. This screen, that's fine. Click OK. The settings as you see on the screen. And we're gonna come to Illustrator. We're going to create a new file, file new. We'll use tabloid size, which is 17 by 11, landscape, and a 300 resolution right here. One artboard. Okay, and we'll click create. And as you'll see right here, we're going to continue practicing, exploring color combinations using the Coolers website. So again, just as a reminder, refresher, I don't think I saved this one. Let's see, maybe I'm gonna have it somewhere else, or not. That's okay. So this is the site. right, coolers right here, so that we can generate um, um, some color color schemes. All right, a 5-color scheme as we have right here. So once we do that, I'll share with you what I did. And I don't think I have my previous one. But if we open the export, which in this case for me was the EXP one, let's say that I really like my colors and I want to be working with the same colors that I was working in Illustrator. I'm sorry, in Rhino in Illustrator. So something that you can do is you can select this line color right here. You can double click on, in this case, the stroke. And again, remember that it gives you this the hex code right there, the number. I can copy it, and then I can paste this over here. Right? Paste it. Notice that it matches it. I can go ahead and lock it. Right? I can repeat that. Let's say now I select my orange. Double click on the stroke because that's where the color is. Copy, paste the hex color, and lock that as well. And then from there, let's say that maybe you want to bury it a little bit. You can continue clicking over here, right, and maybe finding something that you like. But I think I did use this pink as well. I did look for it. So I selected that and select this color right here, and then copy it, paste it over here. I think I locked it, and then I just found 2 more colors through the cool colors options. I think I was looking something dark, probably like that dark purple, and then I'll look for something maybe lighter so that it contrasts with that. Let's see if we run into maybe kind of like there you go. I think I'll use something like that. And I think I'll use these 5 right here. You'll notice that on the file, so we have 2 files. You have the exported one, which is your diagrams, but I would recommend that you work off of the one that we initially set up, which is your 11 by 17. And then what I like to do just for, I guess as a graphical help aid, and actually, yeah, I like to draw a rectangle over here, and then maybe let's go ahead and remove its outline, and then I can select this right here, make 5 copies, right? And then can I do something? There you go. And then now I give them a fill using each of these colors, color codes right here. So control copy, right? So it's kind of like the inverse that we were just doing. Right, so I can bring that right there. I can copy this one, right, bring it over here, paste. But again, you can explore colors. You can completely change your color scheme from the ones that you're using in Rhino. I just wanted to illustrate that you can actually work kind of backwards as well, in the way that maybe you have some color scheme that you're trying to work with, and reverse engineer and find colors that work with those already predetermined colors as well. So as you've seen right here, I've created these color swatches on the upper left corner of my screen that match these colors right here. Okay, so the next thing is to set up our board, our artboard here in the Illustrator. And you'll see that we're going to be using our layers. I'm going to create a new layer. I'm going to call this background. And well, what color would you select for your background? In this case, I went for a darker color, so I can mimic that. So I like to do backgrounds as an object. So I copied that rectangle right here. I can switch its layer so it's in the proper layer. I can resize it so that it, whoops, so that it fits the artboard. And then immediately I lock it. Your background color, it's a layer that you definitely want to lock. The next, I did another layer right here, calling it margin. Margin. And that's so that I respect my margins. And I think I did like what did I do? Probably like a 1/4 inch on each end, right? So you know, I did like a 1/4 inch all around, right? So 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch, right? 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch right here. And I can show it to you right here, right? So that's what that is. Now, that layer is not meant to be part of my final board, so that's why I can always turn it off. It's just a guide for me to design my board. And as such, having it on its own layer, it's helpful. Now, the way that we can do that as well, and I'm going to use probably this color right here, which is the lightest one. I'm going to create a new rectangle. And we know that this board is an 11 by 17, and I want to leave a 1/4 out on each end. So that means that together they're 1/2 inch. So I'm going to reduce these numbers by 1/2 inch on both axes, right? So if you just select your square tool up here, click on your artboard, and for width, you do, rather than doing 17, you do 16.5. Height, rather than doing 11, you do 10.5. You're going to get a rectangle. Go ahead and flip it or send it into its right layer. I can go ahead and switch over here its stroke so that I don't have a fill, but I have a stroke. And then lastly, I can select the object and I can actually center it over here with this vertical alignment and this center alignment onto the artboard. I can align them like that, and I don't have to worry about placing them, correctly. It does it for me automatically. I can press Control R and bring out my rulers. If your workspace looks different than mine, perhaps clicking right here on this tool, and I'm working on Essential Classics. That's what I like, but again, you can select or customize your layout as desired. So we have our board in the Illustrator or our scheme board. You can either change the line weight of this so that again it's very unintrusive. You can actually give it a dash line so that again you remember that those are just your margins. It's up to you. So I'm gonna lock it as well though, and then I create a new layer. What's going on? All right, I don't know what happened, but I create a new layer. What other layers do I have? So I have titles. I have titles. So I can create my titles. And we're going to bring in my titles. I'm going to cheat a little bit, and I'm going to copy these ones so that, and I'll bring this one over here too. And I would recommend that you do a neat trick. You might not be copy pasting from another board, but if you are, and I want to paste it exactly in the same location, right? Because if I do paste Control V right here, notice that it places it on the center. But if I do, is it Control Shift? Yeah, Control Shift V as in Victor, notice that it does what's called a paste in place. And you'll see right here that the command for that is Shift Control B. And that's very helpful. And here I want to change the fill for that color. So I selected everything and I applied now my color. My color scheme is a little bit different from the board that I was working on when I was setting this up to now that I'm recording, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and do copy or duplicate the titles that I have right here. Again, the font is up to you. I encourage you to explore fonts. Something, again, clean, architectural, geometric, if you will, nothing too fancy, too crazy, but something that, again, it's legible. Okay, so we have our board title, which is subtractive operations. We have our subtitle, which is procedural volumetric steps. And then we're going to have a series of operations with volume A, operations volume B, etc, etc, etc. And then we'll have a smaller title that we'll use in each of our sequences right here. So go ahead and set yourself up. And probably if you're wondering maybe about sizes, let's see, that's a 36 over here. But again, you're welcome to explore. Underneath that, we have a 24. Underneath that, we have a 24 as well, which I would actually maybe do something to this one over here to have them contrast between the subtitle and the drawing titles right here. So maybe I can give it a stroke or a width. Let's see, yeah, like a thickness over here. So that's a little trick because this font right here, I don't think it has a bold setting. It only has an italic. So I can actually change its stroke and make it look thicker. Just be careful because that can give you some really strange results as you're actually noticing right here with that little piquito pointy thing. So I'm gonna go back and maybe just do like a 1. That work? Okay. 0.75. I just want some contrast between this title and this titles over here, and I think we have achieved that. Control 0 is going to zoom out onto the extent of your board. Once you have that, we can actually paste our diagrams over here. So I'm gonna, but before we paste them from our file, let's go ahead and make sure that a setting is on over here. So if you come to your layers over here, this panel, and then you click on this tool or panel over here, let's make sure that this setting is on. Paste remember layers. Paste remember layers down here. If you do that, we're actually going to be able to maintain our source layers once we paste. So I'll illustrate. So if I uncheck it and I select this, Control Copy, Control Paste, notice that everything was just thrown onto the same layer, which is okay, but it's helpful if they actually remain in their own layers. So if, again, I turn on the Paste Remember Layers, that allows me to copy paste objects from one artboard to another one and bring with them their layers onto the pasted artboard. So once I make sure that that setting is on, select the geometry, Control C for copy, Control V for paste. Notice that now the layers come with them, and I can easily, if needed, manipulate them by layer individually. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and select all of this, but not that or that or that. So I'm holding Shift to unselect and bring that right here because this is gonna be our first diagram. Okay, so I'm gonna pause right here. We're gonna come back and we're gonna edit some of this line work to develop our diagrams. Okay, be right back.